Welcome, boys and girls, to your grammar lessons for this week. We are starting with lesson 117. So grab your simple solution book and a pencil, and we will go ahead and get started. All right, so number 1 wants us to underline the adjective that compares. Remember, an adjective describes a noun. It tells us more about a person, place, or thing. So I went to the earliest class. Earliest would be the adjective because it's describing class. It's telling us which class the person went to. On number 2, we need to insert the correct quotation marks in the dialogue. "Those hot air balloons are amazing," shouted Pierre. Remember, we put quotation marks in front and after the exact words of our speaker. So Pierre is shouting, "Those hot air balloons are amazing." So we put quotation marks around his exact words. On number 3, we want to use the past tense form of each verb. Past tense means it has already happened. And they give us a chart that we can look at. It gives us the present tense and the past tense because these are irregular verbs, boys and girls. You can see how the past tense of go is went. We wouldn't say I goed to the store last week. We would say I went to the store. So mom and dad blank out to dinner. We would use the verb go, but change it to its past tense form and say mom and dad went out to dinner. Blank, you have the last piece of cake, Danny? Instead of do you have the last piece, we would change that verb to did. Did you have the last piece of cake? And she got her hair cut last week. Notice how cut actually does not change. Cut can be present tense and it can also be past tense. How we know this is past tense is because of the clues at the end of the sentence saying last week. All right, number 4, we're going to write C if the underlined word is a concrete noun and A if it is an abstract noun. Remember, concrete stands for a person, place, or thing that we can physically see, feel, touch. An abstract is a noun that is more of a thought or a feeling. It's harder to see, feel, or touch it. The train was at the station. Well, a station is an actual place, as you can even see in the picture, so this would be a concrete noun. We're going to put the letter C. My worries went away when I saw the train. Worries is an abstract noun. We can see what it looks like when someone is worrying, but we can't actually see worry on its own, what worries looks like. So that would be the abstract noun. Okay? Over to the next page. Number 5 talks about possessive pronouns. Possessive means there's ownership, and pronouns are those nouns that take the place of a person's name. So my, your, his, her, its, our, and their. Because I could say my car is gray, and I'm talking about my car. It belongs to me, but instead of saying Mrs. Jockel's car is silver or gray, I said my. So my is taking the place of my name, and it's also indicating possession, that there's ownership. So we need to write a possessive pronoun to complete the sentence here. Tell Anne to put blank boots in the closet. Whose boots are they? If we're telling Anne, they are Anne's boots, or instead of saying her name, we would use the pronoun her. Because Anne is a girl, we use her. Okay, number 6, choose the word that means to tell why. To tell why would be to explain. Okay, answer is when you're giving a reply to a question. Arrange is when you are putting things in order. And explain is when you tell why something is the way it is, or you're telling why, the answer is correct. So you had to use that word in a sentence. They said, my teacher asked me to explain my answer. That could be an example sentence. I'll add my own example sentence here. I'm going to say, my typing starts. Here we go. Please explain how to draw a penguin. My son had to draw a penguin today for part of his assignment. He had to watch a live video from the San Diego Zoo of an animal, and he had to draw a picture of it. So that's what made me think of a penguin. Please explain how to draw a penguin. So I used the word explain in my sentence. Okay, number 7, choose the prefixes that mean not. Okay, well, I always like to put the prefixes with a word, and that helps me figure out their meaning. So if we look at the word un, if my bed was undone, it means it's not done, it's not made. So un means not. Re, I always think of like replay or redo. That means to do something again, so it doesn't mean not. Dis, like disapprove, means you don't approve, to not approve of something, so dis means not. Im, like impossible, if something is impossible, that means not possible, so that prefix means not. In, I think of maybe incomplete. If your work is incomplete, it is not complete. And then preview, when you watch a preview, it means to view before, so that prefix does not work. Okay, so those 4 prefixes mean not. On number 8, fill in the plural possessive noun. So plural means more than one, and possessive means there's ownership. The babies might be cold in the stroller. Please bring the babies' coats and hats. So babies means there's more than one baby. And then notice how we need to add the apostrophe after the S. Don't forget that apostrophe. That's how we know that there is possession in this noun. So we're talking about all of the babies and all of their coats and hats. It's the babies' coats and hats. Okay? Number 9, use a conjunction to connect the words in each sentence. So we have to play basketball. It helps to be both tall, blank, fast. A conjunction are those short words and, or, but, so that join our sentences together or parts of a sentence. And for this, to play basketball, it helps to be both tall and fast. So we wouldn't say tall or fast. We want both qualities. So we need to use the joining word and. You can buy a pair of pants. You cannot buy shoes. So but would be the best conjunction to use because it's saying you could buy one, but not the other. And then number 10, reading the words, drawing a line to separate the vowel, consonant, vowel pattern. We're going to look and listen for the long vowel sound, and that tells us where we want to separate the syllables. So in the word minus, like when you subtract, minus, we hear the long I, so we split between the I and the N. Open, O, we hear the long O, so we split between the O and the P. Silent, sigh, we hear that long I, so split between the I and the L. Labor, lay, we hear that long A, so we're going to split between the A and the V. I'm sorry, A and the B. I was thinking of the vowel, consonant, vowel. Okay, so that completes lesson 117 of grammar. Next up is lesson 118. Let me zoom in here for my friends that are maybe just fast forwarding to this part. Here we go. This might help a little better. Lesson 118 for grammar is up next. So let's go ahead and get started with that. All right, number 1, add one of these suffixes to the root word careful and spell the new word correctly. So we're looking at the word careful, carefully, carefuling, or carefulest. Well, only one of those sounds correct to me, carefully, and you simply are going to double the L's because careful already ends with an L, and then we're adding a suffix, ly. So to spell the word correctly, carefully. Number 2, we need to write an adjective to describe each noun. So we need to describe a rocket. They said a loud rocket. How about if I said a large rocket? That would describe the rocket as well, just telling us more of the size. So think of what you could say to describe a rocket. You could describe the size of it, the shape of it, the color of it. Any of those words would be adjectives. Same with our next noun, lollipop. They said a red lollipop. I might say a round lollipop to describe its shape. You might say another adjective to describe it, maybe the tasty lollipop or the sweet lollipop, maybe the blue lollipop. Any of those types of words would describe the noun. On number 3, we need to underline the 2 sides of the complex sentence. So complex sentences simply mean that there's 2 thoughts or things happening in the sentence, and then there's some type of joining word in the middle to join the 2 ideas together. And that joining word is the subordinating conjunction. I know that's kind of a big, long word, but we know what conjunctions are, words like and, or, but, and so. And then a subordinating conjunction, there's a few other words that fall into that category that can join parts of sentences together. So when we look at our sentence, Noah watered the garden because the soil was dry. Well, first think, what is one thing happening in the sentence? Okay, Noah watered the garden. And then what's another thought or idea that's happening? The soil was dry. So those are 2 different ideas in our sentence. And then the subordinating conjunction, the word that's joining them, is the word because. That kind of puts those 2 ideas together. And it's more of a cause and effect sentence now, telling us why Noah watered the garden, because the soil was dry. On number 4, we want to choose the word that means a person in a book or a story. We should know this well from reading. Character, cause, or evidence. Well, a person is a character. And you had to use that word in a sentence. They said, my favorite character was the little girl. Okay, so can you think of a sentence using the word character? So let me think. Let's see. The big bad wolf was a character in Little Red Riding Hood. Okay, so I don't know, think of maybe your favorite story or a show or a movie that you like to watch, and you can add a sentence about a character from that. The big bad wolf was a character in Little Red Riding Hood. All right. Number 5, choosing the correct form of the verb using steal. Everyone is taught not to blank from others. Everyone is taught not to steal from others. Harry blank the last cookie. I'm telling Mom. Well, now we need to change the verb to its past tense form and change it to stole. We wouldn't say Harry steal the last cookie or even Harry stealed the last cookie. This is an irregular verb, so it changes its form from steal to stole, S-T-O-L-E. All right, over to number 6 on the next page. A pronoun renames the antecedent. It takes the place of the noun we're talking about. The antecedent and the pronoun are both plural in this sentence, meaning they're both naming more than one, and they have to agree with each other. So if we look at the example, I saw the animals and took a picture of them. Them is talking about the animals that we took a picture of. So them is a plural pronoun replacing animals. So we need to circle the pronoun and draw an arrow to its antecedent. So if we look at our sentence, we bought groceries and put them in the car. Groceries would be our pronoun. Groceries would be our antecedent. That's the noun we're talking about. And them would be the pronoun. Because when we put them in the car, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the groceries. So we want to circle them. Again, that is our pronoun. Okay, I'm going to highlight it here too. And it's replacing groceries. So instead of saying we bought groceries and put groceries in the car, we bought groceries and put them in the car. So it just kind of makes our sentence less repetitive of the nouns we're talking about. Number 7, what does the underlined word mean? The old car had lost its luster. Okay, well, here we have some clues. It's an old car and it lost something. So we're trying to figure out what luster is. Now this can kind of be tricky because I think any of these options could make sense. The old car had lost its shine. The old car had lost its bumper. Sure, maybe the bumper fell off. It's an old car. Or the old car had lost its paint. Old cars also lose their color. The paint chips off. But in this case, luster means shine. And you may recall hearing that word when we talked about rocks and minerals during science. Luster is a term that we can use to describe how shiny or dull a rock is. So, just using some background knowledge sometimes can help us figure out the definition of some vocabulary words that we're unsure of. Number 8, underlining the adverb that compares. So an adverb is a word that describes the action in the sentence. Janine stood closest to the teacher. Well, where did Janine stand? She stood closest to the teacher. So that would be the adverb telling us where she stood. And closest is comparing where she stood to all of the other students. She was the closest, so right next to the teacher. On number 9, again, choosing a subordinating conjunction to complete our sentence. Dad insisted we wax the car blank it would be in the parade. Well, he wants us to wax the car since it would be in the parade. On New Year's Eve, we stayed up blank midnight. We stayed up until midnight. Those words are subordinating conjunctions because they are joining parts of our sentences together. In number 10, choose the word to complete the sentence. Edge, exciting, or problem. Make sure you measure to the blank of the rectangle. Well, when you're measuring and shapes are involved, you want to measure to the edge of the rectangle. All right, guys, so that completes lesson 118 for grammar. You're welcome to continue hanging out with me. We're going to move on next to lesson 119. Halfway done. So, lesson 119, let's take a look. Choose the word that means a sign or a clue, and then use it in a sentence. Character, cause, or evidence. I think we know from watching a lot of mystery shows or reading mystery books, or even at the beginning of the year during science, we did some investigations. So evidence is a word that means a sign or a clue about something. And their sentence said, the police studied all of the evidence. Okay, and I'm going to say my sentence, The crumbs were evidence that someone ate my cookies. All right, so I kind of fixed up my sentence there. So my sentence again, the crumbs were evidence that someone ate my cookies. So see if you can come up with a creative sentence using the word evidence. Moving on to number 2, choose the meaning of the underlined word based on the sentence. The root is temp. So let's see, the teacher is temporary, so she will only be here for a few weeks. Temp is the root. We need to figure out what temporary means. And there are some clues in our sentence. She will only be here for a few weeks. So does that mean for 10 months, a short time, or a year? Well, a few of something is not very many. So temporary means for a short time. Words that contain the root temp have to do with what? Does it have to do with school, time, or work? And it has to do with time. Temporary is a short time. Okay? Number 3, circle the noun that is the subject of the sentence and underline the noun that is the object. So we're looking for subjects and objects here. So the fireworks exploded in the sky. What is the subject of our sentence? What is this sentence about? Well, it's about fireworks. So you want to circle that noun. And then the object is a noun that comes in the predicate of our sentence. The fireworks exploded in the sky. Sky is a place telling us where they exploded. And so that would be the object noun in our sentence. Number 4, write a possessive pronoun that agrees with the underlined words. So a possessive pronoun, and they give us some examples over in that box. David and Ari have pet turtles. So instead of saying David and Ari, their turtles are in the pen, David and Ari's turtles are in the pen, we could use the pronoun their, T-H-E-I-R. That pronoun takes the place of saying David and Ari again. Number 5, choose words that match the underlined word in the sentence. To observe nature, you need to sit quietly, listen, and wait. So what words mean the same as observe? Disregard, meaning you don't pay any attention. No. Watch. Yeah, when you observe something, you watch it. Notice. Yes, when you observe, you take notice of things. Tune out. No, you might tune out mom and dad when they're asking you to get your schoolwork done. You might not listen, but when you are observing, you are tuning in. Like you are observing this grammar lesson right now by tuning in. Hopefully you're not tuning out. All right, number 6, choose all the prepositions in each sentence. Use the help pages to check your work. Remember what I've said in my past videos with prepositions, boys and girls. I think it's best to try to eliminate other parts of the sentence like adjectives, nouns, pronouns, articles, and usually what you're left with would be your preposition. So Ella put her bike on the bike rack. Okay, well, Ella is a proper noun. Put is the verb, it's the action. Her is a pronoun. Bike is a noun, the is an article, and bike rack, bike in this case is an adjective describing what kind of rack. And so what we're left with is our preposition on. Mason went to school with his sister. Mason is a proper noun, went is the verb, school is a place, his is a pronoun, possessive pronoun, and sister is a person, so that would be a noun. And we are left with to and with as our prepositions. Juliet brought treats for the class. Juliet is a proper noun naming a person. Brought is our verb. Treats would be things, so that's a noun. The is an article. And class would be the object noun. And what we're left with is for. That is always an easy method of finding prepositions. So I encourage you, if you're having trouble finding prepositions or understanding what they are, to try to eliminate the other parts of the sentence that you do know. Okay, number 7, words have shades of meaning. Unhappy is a weaker word for sadness. Miserable is a very strong word for sadness. A person who is miserable is much sadder than a person who is just unhappy. They wanted us to draw a star next to the stronger statement. And they did the example for us. I was sad for days after my turtle died. I was miserable for days after my turtle died. And miserable, as they said, is the stronger word. So they put a star for that sentence. So let's look at the other ones. My sister was cheerful for days after winning the baking contest. My sister was glad for days after winning the baking contest. So which word is stronger, cheerful or glad? Cheerful has a stronger meaning. If you are cheerful, it means you are more happy or you are more glad about something. Okay? Number 8, writing the verb in past tense. Past tense means it's already happened. Beckett handled the sailboat well after only 2 lessons. Handle is our verb in the present tense, but we simply just add a D, the ED, to the end of the verb to make it past tense. So our new verb is handled. Beckett handled the sailboat well. Number 9, choosing the correct verb. Again, another action word. Mia watch or watches children play on the sliding board. Well, Mia watches children play. So we have the ES ending. And number 10, underline the adverbs that compare. Paul paints more skillfully than I do. Remember, adverbs tell us how the action is being done. So Paul is painting, I would say, how does Paul paint? Well, he paints more skillfully. So that would be the adverb telling us how he paints. And it's comparing how Paul paints to this other person. All right, guys, so that ends lesson 119, which can only mean one lesson left, lesson 120 for this week. So hang out with me a little longer. Let's get lesson 120 done, and you can be on your way to whatever else you have planned for today. All right, whoops, I guess I didn't make this bigger before I got started here. Let me just expand this a little bit. All right, so lesson 120, boys and girls. Number 1, read the sentence, underline the 2 adverbs. Drive carefully because trick-or-treaters are everywhere. Which adverb tells how? So how should people drive? They should drive carefully. Which adverb tells where? Where are trick-or-treaters? Everywhere. So those 2 words are the adverbs in the sentence. Okay, number 2, draw a line under the nouns that are plural. Remember, plural means more than one of something. Shelves is more than one shelf. Men is more than one man. Dress is only one. People would be plural because it's more than one person. Class is only one, and fairy would only be one as well. Number 3, choosing a word that means a reason something happens. So why something happens. Is that a character, cause, or evidence? We know from cause and effect that the cause is the reason something is happening. They gave us an example sentence. The firemen were looking for the cause of the fire. So cause is a reason why the fire happened. They were looking for why the fire happened. So let's think of another example sentence. The storm caused the power to go out. I used cause simply in the past tense, And that's okay if you change the tense of the word. It's still the same word, just in a different tense, past, present, or future. So I said the storm caused the power to go out. Okay, so cause. See what sentences you can come up with. Okay, number 4, draw a line to match the underlined expression with its meaning. Martina was born with a silver spoon in her mouth. Does that mean she gets angry and upset, has the best of everything, or promptly? Promptly means to like be on time. Well, if you had a silver spoon in your mouth, you might be angry and upset as a baby, but this phrase actually means to have the best of everything. You know, kind of like you're spoiled. You have the best of everything. You've got a silver spoon. The second sentence, the hike starts at 6 o'clock on the dot. So when people say that in relation to time, they mean promptly. So if you are arriving at 6:03, you're going to be late. And then when things don't go right, he flies off the handle. Well, if things aren't going right, that's going to make you get angry and upset. So you want to draw lines to connect those phrases to their definitions. Okay, and then moving on to the next page here, number 5, we are going to draw a line to separate our words into their syllable patterns between the long vowel and then the consonants. So in the word spider, we hear the long I, spider. So we separate between the I and the D. Label. We separate after that long A sound. Icon. Icon. We hear the long I, so we split after that. And then agent. We split after the A. Agent. Number 6, put a star next to the stronger statement. Jeb was unhappy that no one had found his lost dog, or Jeb was brokenhearted that no one had found his lost dog. Which word is stronger, unhappy or brokenhearted? The stronger word is brokenhearted. So go ahead and put a star next to that sentence, or a little check mark will do. Okay, number 7, choose the correct form of the verb using the verb slide. Wow, did you see her blank into second base? Did you see her slide into second base? Mom blank quietly into her seat at the school play. Mom slide quietly. Mom slided quietly. No, in this case, the verb changes to slid, S-L-I-D. Mom slid quietly into her seat. On number 8, we need to underline the 2 ideas in the sentence and then circle the subordinating conjunction. So we're looking for 2 thoughts in the sentence. We got a home run when I hit the ball. Well, the first thing that happens is we got a home run and I hit the ball, and so that would be the 2 ideas, and then the subordinating conjunction is the word when, kind of joining those 2 thoughts together. Okay, number 9, using a conjunction to connect words in the sentence. Is she absent today? Blank, just tardy. Remember, tardy means to be late. So we would say or. Is she absent today or just tardy? I opened the first box, blank the second, then the second. So I opened the first box and then the second. So we want to join those 2 parts together. Both are happening, so we use and. And finally, number 10, what does the underlined word mean? Mrs. Simon thought our joke was hilarious. Well, key word is joke, and hilarious is a very strong way of saying it was very funny. Okay? All right, guys, that ends our grammar lessons for this week. Make sure you submit whatever work is necessary to your teacher to show that you have completed this assignment. And I wish you all the very best of luck with getting your other assignments done this week. Check out some of the other videos we will be posting. And I hope you are doing fabulous and are enjoying this extended break. I know we miss you all and we're thinking of you. and we hope to talk to you all very soon. Take care now.